There's always one thing. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The email you keep avoiding. The workout you keep postponing. The conversation you need to have. The application you haven't submitted. The first page you haven't written. The phone call you don't want to make. And the longer you avoid it, the larger it becomes inside your head. A 10-minute task becomes a 4-hour emotional burden. This is why avoidance is so expensive. You think you're escaping discomfort. You're actually extending it. The Stoic doesn't ask, "What do I feel like doing?" Yes. "What does this moment require of me?" Tomorrow. Identify the thing you're most tempted to postpone. Then, if circumstances allow, move toward it early. Not because suffering is noble. Not because everything difficult is automatically good. But because every time you repeatedly flee from necessary discomfort, you teach your mind, "I cannot handle this." And every time you face it, you teach your mind something else. "I can." Tell yourself, "Today I will do the hard thing first." Not everything. Just the next necessary thing. And when it's finished, notice how much lighter the rest of the day feels. Mitzi, if one of these 5 reminders already felt uncomfortably personal, don't just keep listening. Choose one. The one you need tomorrow morning. Write it in the comments. Not as a quote for everyone else, but as a promise to yourself. And if you know someone who wakes up already fighting battles inside their own head, share this video with them. Leave a like if you want more practical Stoic lessons like this. And subscribe if you're building a calmer, stronger mind with us. Because the next 5 aren't about controlling your morning. They're about the person you're becoming through it. Some days you win. Some days you get humbled. You give everything to a project, and nobody notices. You apply, and get rejected. You upload something, and almost nobody watches. You work hard, and someone less experienced seems to move ahead faster. And then something dangerous happens. A result becomes an identity. The project failed. Becomes, "I am a failure." They rejected me. Becomes, "I am not enough." Someone is ahead. Becomes, "I am behind in life." A result is information. It is not a verdict on your worth. The Stoics cared deeply about character precisely because fortune is unstable. Money moves. Status moves. Praise disappears. People change their minds. Today's victory can become tomorrow's embarrassment. Today's failure can become tomorrow's turning point. If your worth rises and falls with every external result, the world owns the price tag on your identity. Don't give it that power. Tomorrow morning say, "My value does not change with today's result." Then go earn the result anyway. Work hard. Improve. Compete. But do it because excellence is worthy, not because you're trying to prove that you deserve to exist. You open social media. Someone bought the house. Someone got married. Someone built the business. Someone has the body. Someone is traveling. Someone younger than you seems 10 years ahead. And suddenly, a perfectly normal morning feels like evidence that you failed. Comparison does something vicious. It takes another person's highlight and uses it as evidence against your entire life. But you don't know their whole story, their sacrifices, their advantages, their private pain, their starting point, and they don't know yours. So why are you using their timeline? To sentence yourself? Stoicism continually redirects attention toward your own conduct. Not, am I ahead of them? But, am I acting well with what I've been given? That's a far harder question, and a far more useful one. Tomorrow, before scrolling through someone else's life, someone else's life is not my clock. Your race isn't late, just because somebody else reached a checkpoint first. This one matters, because sometimes, you finally start doing the right thing, and life gets harder. You set boundaries, and people get angry. You begin exercising, and your body hurts. You start a business, and uncertainty explodes. You leave an unhealthy relationship, and suddenly you're lonely. You stop wasting money, and life temporarily feels restricted. And your brain whispers, "See, this was a mistake. Go back." But difficulty isn't always a warning. Sometimes, Difficulty is the price of changing direction. A seed doesn't become a tree by remaining protected inside its shell. Neither do you. The Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort not because pain itself was holy, but because they wanted proof that comfort wasn't their master. There will be moments when the right road doesn't feel good. Tell yourself, difficult does not mean wrong. Then ask a better question. Is this pain destroying me or developing me? Know the difference. Some suffering should be left. Some discomfort should be walked through. Wisdom is knowing which is which. There was probably a time when something in your current life was once a dream. Maybe you once wanted the job you now complain about, the home you're currently cleaning, the person sleeping beside you, the body you're constantly criticizing, that still carries you through every day. Maybe there was a time when you would have given anything for the ordinary Tuesday you're currently rushing through. We adapt quickly. That's useful for survival, terrible for gratitude. Yesterday's miracle becomes today's background noise. The Stoics repeatedly contemplated loss not to become miserable, but to see ordinary things clearly again. Imagine for one moment that something you take for granted today was gone tomorrow. Your health, your mother, your father, your child, your ability to walk. One person who still answers when you call. Now come back. It's still here, at least today. Tell yourself, I already have something I once prayed for. Then notice it. Gratitude doesn't mean you stop wanting a better life. It means you stop being blind to the life already happening. One morning, you will wake up and unknowingly begin the final ordinary day of your life. No warning, no dramatic music. Maybe you'll brush your teeth, drink coffee, complain about traffic, ignore someone you love, postpone something important. Tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. Except eventually, there is no tomorrow. The Stoics kept mortality close for this reason. Not to make life darker, to make it visible. Memento mori, remember that you will die. Not someday as an abstract philosophical concept. Actually, so will I. So will everyone we love. And strangely, when you stop pretending you have unlimited mornings, ordinary mornings become precious. The coffee tastes different. An argument becomes less important. Calling your father becomes more important. Holding your child for 10 extra seconds becomes more important. Doing meaningful work becomes more important. Saying what needs to be said becomes more important. So tomorrow morning, don't ask only, what do I need to accomplish? If this were my last ordinary morning, how would I live today? You probably wouldn't panic. You probably wouldn't spend 3 hours proving yourself to strangers online. You probably wouldn't waste the day carrying an insult from yesterday. You would pay attention. You would love more honestly, work more deliberately, forgive more quickly, and perhaps you would finally understand the secret. A powerful morning isn't one where you convince yourself that everything will go your way. That's not Stoicism. It's one where you remind yourself, whatever comes today, I will meet it as the person I choose to be. So tomorrow morning, before the notifications, before the news, before comparison, before somebody else's mood enters your mind, remember, you don't need to feel ready. Not everything deserves your reaction. Don't suffer twice. You cannot control them. Do the hard thing. Your result is not your worth. Nobody else's life is your clock. Difficult does not always mean wrong. Notice what you already have. And remember, you don't have unlimited mornings. The world will eventually get its turn. It will bring noise, problems, people, delays, rejection, uncertainty. You cannot prevent that. But give yourself the first few minutes. Before the world tells you how to feel, decide who you will be. If you're still here, don't let this become another video you felt inspired by and forgot tomorrow. Choose one sentence from these 10. Write it somewhere you'll see when you wake up. And in the comments, write, tomorrow begins with me. If this video gave you something worth carrying into tomorrow, like it, share it with someone whose mornings have become heavier than they admit. And subscribe for more practical Stoic lessons, not just to understand philosophy, but to actually live it. Because you may not control what tomorrow brings. But when morning comes, you can decide who gets out of bed to meet it. Before you touch your phone tomorrow morning, before you read a message, before you see the news, before the world gets a chance to tell you how to feel, tell yourself these 10 things. Because the first battle of your day isn't with your boss. It isn't with money. It isn't with traffic. It isn't even with other people. It's with the voice inside your own head. The voice that says, "Not today. You're tired. You're behind. You're not good enough." And if that voice wins the first 5 minutes, it can follow you for the next 15 hours. Marcus Aurelius understood this nearly 2,000 years ago. Every morning he had to prepare his mind before facing a world he could not control. And so do you. These aren't empty affirmations. They're 10 Stoic reminders for the mornings when you're tired, certain, angry, afraid, or simply don't feel strong enough to face another day. And the last one may completely change what you believe a good day actually means. Let's begin. Some mornings, you wake up ready to conquer the world. And some mornings, you stare at the ceiling and wish the world would forget you exist for another hour. Your body feels heavy. Your mind immediately begins negotiating. 5 more minutes. I'll start tomorrow. I'll do it when I feel better. And this is where most days are lost. Not because you were incapable, because you waited for a feeling before taking an action. The Stoics understood something uncomfortable. Your responsibilities do not ask whether you're motivated. Marcus Aurelius was emperor of Rome. Yet in his private writings, we find him reasoning with himself about getting out of bed and doing the work of a human being. Think about that. One of history's most powerful men still had mornings when he didn't want to get up. So maybe the problem isn't that you lack some special quality. Maybe you've simply been expecting yourself to feel ready before you move. You don't need to. Your first victory tomorrow morning can be embarrassingly small. Feet on the floor, curtains open, water, one task, one decision made before your excuses have time to organize themselves. Tell yourself, I don't need to feel ready. I only need to begin. Because action has a strange power. It often creates the motivation you were waiting to receive first. Imagine this. It's 7:14 in the morning. You slept badly. You reach for your phone. There's a message you don't like. Maybe it's from your boss, your partner, someone who ignored you yesterday and suddenly wants something today. Your chest tightens. Your mind starts composing replies. And there it goes. Your peace, gone before breakfast. But ask yourself, who actually took it? The message? Or your reaction to the message? Epictetus built much of Stoic practice around a distinction we still desperately need. There are things that depend on us, and things that do not. Someone's words? Not entirely yours. Their mood? Not yours. Whether they understand you? Not yours. But whether you allow their behavior to occupy your mind for the next 6 hours? Now we're getting closer to your territory. This doesn't mean becoming emotionless. It means creating space between what happens and what you do next. Tomorrow morning, when something tries to pull you into chaos, don't immediately give it your mind. Just breathe. Read it again later if necessary. Then tell yourself, not everything deserves my reaction. Some battles are won by refusing to enter them. 3. I will not suffer twice. A surprising amount of human suffering happens before anything has actually happened. You wake up thinking, what if the meeting goes badly? What if they reject me? What if I lose the money? What if she leaves? What if I fail? And suddenly, your body is lying safely in bed, while your mind is living through 5 disasters that don't exist. This is one of anxiety's cruelest tricks. It charges you emotionally for a future that may never arrive. The Stoic approach isn't, nothing bad will happen. That's fantasy. Something may go wrong. You may be rejected. Plans may collapse. People may disappoint you. But if difficulty arrives at 3 p.m., why experience it at 7 a.m. too? Deal with reality when reality arrives. Until then, deal with what is actually in front of you. Your breakfast, your work, your breath, the next decision. Tell yourself, I will not suffer twice, once in imagination and once in reality. You don't need enough strength for the entire future this morning. You need enough strength for the next moment. There is probably someone in your life you desperately wish would change. Maybe you want them to finally understand you, apologize, respect you, love you properly, stop criticizing you, stop disappointing you. And every morning, a small part of your peace waits for them to become different. That's a dangerous way to live, because now your emotional stability depends on another human being following a script they never agreed to read. Stoicism cuts through this brutally. You don't own other people. You own your choices. You can communicate honestly, set the boundary, walk away, forgive, say no, try again. But you cannot climb inside another person's mind and rearrange it until they become what you need. And sometimes, peace begins the moment you stop trying. Tomorrow morning, think about the person currently occupying too much space in your head. I cannot control them. I can control me. Notice the relief in that sentence. Their behavior is information. Your response is character.